Hey guys, hope you're having a great week of training. Today's video I want to talk about how to break a sub 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon. This is another big goal that a lot of athletes are trying to go after. And again, we talk about time barriers. We talk about how to get to the start line in peak shape, taper down, and get to the finish line in record time. And there are definitely tactics that you can use that I've discussed on a lot of these videos that I really hope is going to contribute to your success in 2020. You know, a sub 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon comes out to 10 minutes, 17 seconds per mile, or 6 minutes and 23 seconds per kilometer. And the half marathon distance is definitely a great event. It's my favorite distance. The current world record for females was just recently broken yesterday. A lady from Ethiopia ran an hour and 4 minutes and 31 seconds. And actually the female that was second is the current world record holder for the marathon. And she ran under the world record, which was hers, in an hour and 4 minutes and 48 seconds. The old world record previous to yesterday was an hour and 4 minutes and 51 seconds. So these are phenomenal times that these athletes are running, both females and males. I mean, the men's world record for the half marathon now is around 58 minutes flat, or 58:02, something like that. It's insane how fast these times are. But the same concepts that these athletes are training and utilizing are the same concepts that I teach at RunDreamAchieve.com on these videos. They're the same concepts that help me run a personal best of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 6 seconds for the half marathon. My second fastest half marathon is 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 9 seconds. And that just happened to be my first half marathon in my 219 marathon. I hit the first half in 107.09, came back with a 112.26. So what I'm going to be teaching you in this video is just some pointers, some suggestions that I really think are going to help you ultimately to be able to sustain that 2 hour and 15-minute half marathon pace, which comes out to 10 minutes and 17 seconds per mile, or 6 minutes and 23 seconds per kilometer. So 13.1 miles, 21.1 kilometers. So again, we talk about, I'm a very big believer in heart rate monitor training. If you have not invested in a heart rate monitor, that's my first tip, is to go out and get one. It's much easier to focus on staying in a heart rate zone for like your tempo runs or doing your long runs on the road, rather than focusing on what mile splits you're hitting, what kilometer splits you're hitting. Because as you get fitter over time, I promise you, your mile splits and your kilometer splits will take care of themselves. Your focus needs to be on training at different heart rate percentages and to focus on those particular energy systems of the body. So key workouts that I want to give you in regards to, again, breaking 2 hours and 15 minutes for the half marathon is easy running should be anywhere from 130 to 150 beats per minute if you're wearing a heart rate monitor. Now again, heart rate monitors, you don't want to wear these constantly, but they are great guides. They keep you from running too fast on days where you need to be running slow, and they teach you how to also run much slow or much faster on those days that are called upon where you really need to run much faster. But if you're not wearing a heart rate monitor and you don't necessarily think you're going fast enough, but you're really not. So they're great guides. They're not the be-all end-all of your training, but I think they're very critical for your overall success as a half marathon athlete. Your pace for running between 130 and 150 beats per minute should be around anywhere from 11 minutes and 6 seconds to 12 minutes and 15 seconds per mile, or around 6 minutes and 55 seconds to 7 minutes and 5 seconds per kilometer for your easy pace. Steady pace, steady long runs, or sort of like anaerobic threshold runs where you're running closer to around 90% of your maximum heart rate. That pace should be anywhere from 10 minutes and 35 seconds per mile to around 6 minutes and 35 seconds per kilometer. So much more aggressive type pace, but again, your anaerobic threshold is where we race at. It's absolutely critical that you teach your body over time to extend the amount of distance and duration that you're spending at that anaerobic threshold. So the anaerobic threshold is your lactate tolerance. So again, it's around 80 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. Again, that is critical. The longer you can spend over time as you get fitter, the better in regards to breaking a sub 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon. So I really want you to pay attention to, one, being patient with yourself. You want to gradually over time allow your body to adapt to those hard anaerobic workouts that you're doing. You know, the longer tempo runs, the intervals on the track, you know, those are all critical for you to run under this 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon barrier. So, but it doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for me, and it doesn't happen overnight for the world's top half marathon specialist, you know, regardless of what distance they are. Every athlete has to start and gradually over time get fitter, but it doesn't just happen overnight. So be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you don't hit the workouts you're trying to aim for. You're not running as fast as you want to in your preparatory races, your preparatory workouts. Allow yourself time. Trust me, you will get better, you will get faster, and you will eventually run 2 hours, 14 minutes, 59 seconds for the half marathon or faster. I guarantee it. It's just a matter of you being persistent and focusing and not letting up on what you're doing. You know, this is an aggressive time. It's a very respectable time. Athletes all over the world are trying to break it, and many do, and the ones that do have spent sufficient time training below that goal race pace, that 10-minute, 17-second mile pace, 6 minutes, 23 seconds per kilometer pace. So the longer you can spend, like I said, the longer you can spend at your anaerobic threshold and extend the amount of time and extend the distance that you're running at that effort, the better. Again, these examples of these are you know, doing those runs between on the road, if you're doing like 5 to 15 minute efforts with 1 to 3 minutes recovery in between each one. I did a lot of these types of workouts leading into my half marathons and marathons as well. I like to get off the track and not spend all the time on the track, but you want to, when you're doing those steady state anaerobic type workouts, they're very aggressive, but you want to get to a point where you can run longer periods of time at a higher percentage of your maximum heart rate and closer to your VO2 max. VO2 max is your maximum oxygen uptake. It's like when you go on the track and you do those repeat hundreds, repeat 200s, 400s, 600s, where you can only spend a few seconds to a few minutes running at your VO2 max. It's highly recommended that you do one VO2 max workout per week. And examples of those types of workouts are like repeat 800s, running those at around between 4 minutes and 10 seconds to 4 minutes and 15 seconds per 800 meter. Doing 600s, which I love doing those as well, getting on the track and doing those. You want to do those anywhere from 3 minutes and 10 seconds to 3 minutes and 15 seconds per rep with short rests. Start off with maybe like, depending on the distance of your interval, start off giving yourself a little bit more time early on as you're getting fitter, and as you progress through your training cycle, you want to extend the amount of intervals and maintain the same pace but lower the amount of rest, because again, there's no rest in this half marathon. You want to get to a point where you're running much faster than 10-17 mile pace or 6 minute and 23 second kilometer pace. So spend time training much faster than that. It's the same type of concept, same philosophy that I followed, that I had to follow for me to go from a 2:43 marathoner to a 2:19 marathon specialist. Big difference between 6:14 mile pace and 5:25 mile pace for 26 miles. Big difference. So I had to make big changes in how I trained. And I did that by doing these types of workouts where you're running those longer anaerobic threshold runs, the longer tempo runs, extending those out. As a half marathon specialist, if you can get your tempo run out to around 10 miles, start off at around between 2 and 3 miles, and then over time, as you get fitter, you extend that out. Get that out to around 10 to 11 miles in length. I'm telling you, you're going to be super strong doing that. Another examples of intervals is just, you know, getting out on the track, doing 16 repetitions of 400 meters. Do those anywhere from 2 minutes and 5 seconds to 2 minutes and 8 seconds per rep. Doing 12 to 16 200 meter repetitions where you're running anywhere from a minute and 2 seconds to a minute and 5 seconds per 200. So again, you're running much, much faster. I mean, that's like 8-minute mile pace for your repeat 200s. So again, 8-minute mile pace is going to make that goal half marathon race pace that you're shooting for, 10 minutes and 17 seconds, feel so much easier because you're running at 8-minute mile pace. Again, you're only spending a few seconds at that time, okay, or a little over a couple minutes. In this case, minute 5, minute 8 per repetition. So again, it's a matter of just seconds to a couple minutes that we're doing these types of workouts. But again, that's going to make your goal half marathon race pace feel easier, more in control, less taxing on your body, okay? And again, I preach this on these videos on RunDreamAchieve.com. All of my running courses are built around this concept of training at, near, or far below goal race pace. You can type in the link here in the video and go to RunDreamAchieve.com. I have training programs that are built for beginner to advanced level 5K to marathon specialist. I have training programs on RunDreamAchieve.com specifically for athletes trying to break 2 hours and 15 minutes or trying to run a sub 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon. So I highly recommend going to those resources on RunDreamAchieve.com. There's plenty of free content there as well as here on the YouTube channel. That's a big key with breaking 2 hours and 15 minutes for the half marathon is training for longer periods of time at a higher heart rate percentage. You want to run, it's not about higher mileage. It's about quality over quantity. What is the percentage of your weekly volume are you training at, spending time at, near, or far below goal race pace? Okay, so training very, very fast is very important, and also backing off and running slow and allowing yourself time to recover on those easy days. So running slower is another tip. Run slower on your recovery days. You should not even, most of my days on easy days over the years, I didn't even focus on pace. I could care less what pace, whether it was 10-minute mile pace, 12-minute mile pace, 9-minute mile pace. I was an athlete who, with a personal best of 2:19:35 for the marathon, I was able to hold 5:19 mile pace for 26.2 miles. I'd go out and run 9 to 10-minute mile pace on my easy days. So I know what it takes to run well over these distances, but I know there's no easy way of doing it. There's only suggestions and fundamentals and principles that you need to follow, and you ultimately have to do the work, but it is definitely doable for you to break 2 hours 15 minutes for the half marathon. But you have to pay attention to these fundamentals. It's very critical. So the next tip I want to share is train with athletes that are better than you. If you have the luxury of being able to train with other runners that have run much, much faster than you, or are running at times maybe 5 to 10 minutes faster than you, fantastic. Get out with them, get on the track, do the tempo runs with them. If you can't hang with them for long periods of time, so be it, but spend some time training with these athletes. One of the biggest reasons why I was able to run 107 for the half marathon and a 219 marathon was because I had athletes around me that were sub 4-minute milers, sub 212 marathoners, athletes that could run 102 for the half marathon. Fantastic athletes, much, much better than I was. So that's really key. And you also have to be able to also get out and have that initiative to put in the work without nobody around. There were a lot of times when I had to do repeat 2 miles on the track by myself at sub 5-minute mile pace at 6,400 feet, and there was nobody around that could care less. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares at the end of the day if you're getting out the door or not. It's you got to have that belief in what you're doing, and ultimately you have to, at the end of the day, when you down the road, when you retire from your competitive career, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, did I do everything I possibly could? Don't have any regrets. Don't lose enthusiasm for what you're doing. Know that it's going to be a challenge, but nobody held my hand to run 219. Nobody held my hand to get out there and run almost under an hour and 7 minutes for the half marathon. I had to put that initiative, and I had to train and do these types of workouts. So please keep those things in mind. Stay persistent, believe in what you're doing. I definitely know you're going to break 2 hours and 15 minutes for the half marathon. And definitely leave me a comment below and let me know if this is helpful and what's a concern you have, what's something that's giving you an issue. If you're brand new to the channel, my name's Nate Pennington. I'm the founder of RunDreamAchieve.com. Been running for 28 years, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of getting other athletes, regardless if they're here in the States or regardless where they are in the world, to get better results by training smarter rather than harder. I've known many athletes that have trained super hard that had a lot of capability that never broke 2 hours and 15 minutes for the half marathon. So I know if you're training smarter and you're not focusing so much on quantity and you're focusing more on quality, you're going to get better results. You're going to use more leverage, and I think that's really key. So next tip I want to share with you is to vary up the paces of your long runs. Don't just stay steady every single weekend and run slow every weekend. I'll continue to preach this in practically every video because it absolutely changed my mindset. It changed my reality in terms of an athlete, because I was running every single weekend. I would go out and run 16 to 24. I got out to 30-mile long runs, but I would run them too slow. And it wasn't until I started increasing running for longer periods of time at 160 beats per minute, which was around 85 to 87% of my maximum heart rate. I started running faster paced long runs, and then doing, for an example, here's 2 examples. One, in your case, for someone that's trying to break 2 hours and 15 minutes, I would say do a 2-mile warm up, 6 miles at your anaerobic threshold. So again, 6 miles at around between 164 to 174 beats a minute. Drop back down to 2 miles easy. I'm talking jogging on the next 2 miles. 1 mile in 9 minutes and 30 seconds, or 4:40 for your kilometer pace, and then 2 miles easy, back into 6 miles at anaerobic threshold, and then a 1 mile at the very end in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So, again, you're changing up paces. It's not just one easy recovery run. Another example is just a steady 20-miler at 160 beats per minute. I did numerous types of runs like this, where I just stayed at that 160 heart rate, and you'll know as you get fitter. 160 will be not 160 beats per minute may not be very fast at the beginning when you're just training, when you're just getting in shape. It may be extremely slow, but I guarantee you 8 weeks down the line or 12 weeks down the line, that pace is going to drastically get faster at the same effort. You don't want to run every single weekend hard, because no athlete can continue to run like that and get a return on your investment. You have to spend one weekend running at a harder, very pace long run, followed the next weekend by a relaxed jog long run, where you're just focusing on building your endurance, burning fat, and a much easier pace so you can recover. So again, harder long run followed by an easy long run. Alternate those long runs every week and change up how the paces of your long runs and the heart rate that you're running at. A lot of times when I was training for the marathon to try to break 2 hours and 22 minutes, every 4th mile of my 20-miler, when I did like a 20-mile run, would be under 5-minute mile pace. I dropped like a 450, get back into 18 level pace or 160 beats per minute. Spend a little bit of time even at VO2 max, which was those every 4th mile I would drop a 450 to 455 mile right in the middle of my long run. And then the following week I would just jog for 16 to 24 miles. Recover from all those hard workouts. So definitely keep that in mind as well. Another tip is to get a pair of fast shoes. Okay, I've made a couple videos on these performance enhancing shoes. At the end of the day, everybody's different. We all have different goals and aspirations with our sport. I think these shoes definitely have perks and benefits, and I think if the majority of the athletes out there aren't at the very top, they're not elite level athletes, and I'm talking athletes that can break 59 minutes for the half marathon, or females that can break 107 or 108, 106 for the half marathon. The majority of regional level, beginner level athletes, why not get a pair of the Alpha Fly shoes if it makes you feel better, and if you're doing great training and you get on the roads and you run faster, it's going to help you psychologically, period. to even wear these types of shoes. What I don't like about the shoes is when you get to the elite level, when you're running, well under 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon, I think that these types of shoes play a bigger part. But for the majority of athletes, why not wear the shoe if you feel comfortable in them and you run faster and it helps you psychologically, and you can go out and you get a big personal best, then so be it. It's just a tip. You can wear them in training if you don't want to race in them, but you want to wear them in training. That's what I would do. I would wear those types of shoes in training to kind of get an idea of the difference and how much faster I'd be training. I could run in training, but in a race I probably wouldn't wear them. But again, we're all different. So definitely get a pair of shoes that feel great on your feet, that are super light. Don't go out and try to run a 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon with a pair of training shoes on. I've seen so many athletes that have done this, and I'm like, you can run so much faster if you get a pair of racing flats on your feet. So if you've never done that, and the majority of time you've been focusing on wearing training shoes for trying to break a 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon, get a pair of racing flats on your feet. That is the way to drastically improve your half marathon time, just by making those small changes. Less weight on your feet while you're trying to race over 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers will make a big difference. Next tip, pick a fast course. There are plenty of opportunities out there, plenty of courses that are fast, but again, when I say a fast course, you've got to be in great shape. It doesn't matter how flat the course is. If you haven't done your homework and training to run 10:17 mile pace or 6:23 kilometer pace, it doesn't matter how flat the course is. But my recommendations are Rotterdam, Berlin, Indianapolis. The Monumental Indianapolis has a great half marathon. Chicago, Philadelphia is a great one. That's where I ran my PR at. Great flat courses. So pick a flat course. Try to minimize racing on courses that have too many undulations, too many hills. Going after a 2 hour, 14-minute, 59-second half marathon, you're going to set yourself up for success having a flat course rather than, this is self-explanatory, but find a flat course for sure. Next tip is to get some regular massages, spend some time during, in rehabilitation, make sure you're hydrating well, you're getting the massages, you're being able to recover from all these hard workouts. That's really going to set you up for success in trying to break a 2 hour, 15-minute half marathon. So, pay attention to those little things as well, because those are, again, it's really, what are you doing after the hard workouts? What are you doing the other hours of your day to get closer to that 2 hour, 14-minute, and 59-second half marathon time? A lot of athletes we don't always focus on all of the other hours of our day. We focus on the track workout or the tempo runs or the hill reps or the long runs. We get really good at doing the physical training, but we neglect, which is my last tip, we neglect mentally training. Billy Mills said it best: the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between reality or imagination. And when I was a 2:43 marathoner, I had to see it in my mind that I was running under 2 hours and 21 minutes, or under 2 hours and 22 minutes. That was my goal. I saw myself with 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 59 seconds on the clock for the marathon over and over and over again in training. Every single day I would visualize myself doing that. And it took about a year, but after a year I came to the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program in 2007 as a conditional athlete. I had run 51 minutes and 53 seconds for the 10-mile distance, made a Armed Forces World Cross Country team, but I had only run, and I say that because a 2:43 marathon is not slow. It's very fast, it's very competitive, but going to a unit like that when you're around athletes that are elite level, world-class level athletes, 2:43 is very slow for them. So, but I had to make those changes, and I had to visually see myself. So the same with you. You have to spend time every single day, whether it's like 10 to 15 minutes each day when you're first getting up in the morning or when you're going to bed at night. Close your eyes, spend time seeing yourself running the way you want to run and getting across that finish line in record time. So I hope these tips have been helpful for you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, or if you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. Hopefully I get my thumbs ups, but I really appreciate your attention, and if there's anything I haven't covered in this video that you need more clarification on, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of the video. What's your upcoming half marathon? Are you trying to break 2 hours and 15 minutes? The same principles apply. You have to train at, near, or far below goal race pace. You have to get better equipped at being able to sustain goal pace for longer periods of time. If you haven't yet subscribed, click on subscribe, click on the bell icon, so when I make new videos, you'll be notified, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.